right, we are on the rec now in the people of the state of Michigan versus Jeremy Richard Gillespie. It is file number 20-20044-FH. This is the date set for sentencing, as well as sentencings on contempt of court for failures to appear on March 10th, 2021 and January 2021. We are proceeding by a video conference today that's being streamed to a YouTube channel. Mr. Dagger Margosian, would you please place your appearance on the record?
Your Honor, good morning. Michael Dagger Margosian for Mr. Gillespie. We have no objection to having this proceeding done by Zoom.
And sir, you are Jeremy Richard Gillespie, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Gillespie, this is a sentencing in a felony case. As a result of that, you do have a right to be present here in person in the courtroom for the sentencing hearing. So we would only proceed today if you're willing to waive that right and have the hearing conducted by video conference. Are you willing to do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you had an opportunity to read and review your pre-sentence report?
Me and the lawyer that got a phone to me yesterday went over it a little bit.
All right. Have you had an adequate opportunity to read through that document?
This is the one that I filled out partway and handed in, pre-sentence investigation.
There's a portion that you would have filled out and handed in, and then the probation officer would have prepared a larger document that includes a sentencing recommendation. It includes your criminal history and some other information. Did you get that?
Yeah, I got that, the parts of where I filled it out and handed it in and went over it with her a while back. That's all I've gotten of it.
All right. So did you get the part that has the recommendation?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't have any physical papers with me besides a couple of the papers that I've gotten since I've been in here in the court. That's just court scheduled dates. That's all I have. I haven't received any pre-sentence investigation papers for a copy for myself.
All right. We'll take a brief recess. Yeah, Mr. Dagger Margosian.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Mr. Gillespie, we went over the document yesterday on the Zoom call.
Yeah.
Okay. And, you know, we found the issues that we're going to be addressing with the court. I mean, depending on how the court wants to proceed, are you informed enough to move forward with the sentencing based on what we talked about yesterday, going over the document?
Okay. Yeah. I went through that far of it yesterday. I didn't know that's what the judge meant. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I apologize. Okay.
So with that understanding now, Mr. Gillespie, have you had a chance to review that document?
Yes, with the court-appointed lawyer yesterday.
And have you had a chance to discuss that with Mr. Dagger Margosian?
Yes, sir.
And are you satisfied with the advice of your attorney?
Yes.
Do you wish to explain or challenge the accuracy or relevancy of any of the information that was in that pre-sentence report?
We had a couple of issues about, there was nothing about a drug court paperwork that I filled out. And I believe he had a couple of challenges to ask questions about. All
right, Mr. Dagger Margosian, do you want to address those?
Yes, please, Your Honor. So the three areas that I'd like to address is, number one, what Mr. Gillespie alluded to as far as a possibility of drug court. Number one, whether he's been screened for drug court, and number two, if he would be eligible and if he could be accepted during his course of probation. That's the first item that I'll address with the court. The second item is the amount of credit, or really the lack of credit. I'll just talk about a few dates that are relevant to credit. And then number 3 is just a quick challenge on OV12. I think that's scored incorrectly for OV12, but it doesn't change the guidelines. But obviously, Mr. Gillespie is entitled to be sentenced on accurate information. So those are the 3 areas that I would address with the court.
All right, why don't we start with the OV12 issue, Mr. Margosian? What is your concern with that one?
Your Honor, I believe that that scoring may come from the felony firearm that was dismissed pursuant to the plea deal. A felony firearm can't be scored for OV12. I just think that's I think that should be scored as 0. But again, it doesn't change the guidelines. And the authority would be MCL 777.42 sub 2 sub B.
All right, Ms. Holly, was it the felony firearm that you used to score OV12 at one point, or was there another issue?
No, it's the weapons charge. I wasn't aware we couldn't do that.
So OV12 then will be scored at 0. That would make the total offense variables 5 rather than 6, and it would remain offense variable level 1. Okay, so let's take then the credit issue, Mr. Margosian.
Your Honor, I believe that, oops, sorry about that. I believe on information and belief that Mr. Gillespie has been incarcerated at Lenawee County Jail since April 28th of 21 up until today's current date. I see the notes in the PSI that there was some mention of a tether. That tether was, of course, removed when he was arrested and remanded to jail on 4/28 of this year. I think that he is entitled to those. My calculation is 100 days of credit. So I would ask the court to grant that those days of credit.
I talked to the jail, and the PR bond was revoked and never reinstated. So all the time that he's been doing has been for contempt of court charges.
So Your Honor, if the PR bond has been revoked, even if he's getting credit on a contempt, he still would get credit for the instant offense as well, is my position.
It was never revoked.
All right, if the PR bond was not revoked, that would have been an error on my part. So I think that it would be appropriate to allow him the credit of 100 days. I did calculate that. It looks like that calculation is right. It's 100 days between April 28th and today. So I think the credit is appropriate.
Okay.
Then Mr. Dagger-Margosian, you had an issue with drug court.
Your Honor, the last issue, when I was speaking with Mr. Gillespie yesterday, I guess I'm just wondering if he's been screened for drug court, and if not, we're still ready to proceed with sentencing with maybe the possibility of him being screened for drug court, and if he's eligible to just have him enter into the program during his probation. But in any event, we're ready to proceed.
So jail credit, he's getting 100 days. Is that what
Correct.
you said?
Yeah, and so that should be from April 28th, 2021 to today. All right, so with respect to the issue of drug court, I'm going to leave that between Mr. Gillespie and his probation officer, if she feels it's appropriate to screen him for drug court and enter him into that program. I certainly wouldn't stand in the way of that if he meets the screening requirements, but I'm going to leave that to the probation officer in this case.
Okay. Excuse me, I had filled out the drug court paperwork and had an interview with the drug court lady, and she said that it would just have to go across the board and to find out if I was eligible or not. I just haven't heard anything about whether I was eligible or not eligible. Nothing yet.
Ms. Holly, you have any information on that?
I had no idea. I've not heard anything about that, so, but that's not unusual.
Okay, thank you.
I guess, could we just ask it if the paperwork has been filled out and if he's eligible for probation to just consider? I think that's what Your Honor had just stated, but.
Yeah, again, I'm going to leave that to the probation officer if she wants to amend the terms of probation. If he does turn out to be eligible to enter him into drug court again, I wouldn't stand in the way of that. But at this point, I think that's a more appropriate decision for the probation department to make. Mr. Dagger-Margosian, does the pre-sentence report disclose any prior convictions in which there exist any known constitutional defects?
None to my knowledge, Your Honor.
Probation officers computed the minimum sentencing guidelines to be from 7 to 23 months. Do you agree with that computation?
I do agree with that.
And before the court passes sentence, anything that you'd like to say on behalf of Mr. Gillespie?
Your Honor, Mr. Gillespie, as you know, as I previously indicated, he's been in custody for approximately 100 days. Well, specifically 100 days. He has a job to return to once he's released. He has a stable residence, living with his girlfriend once he's released. He's obviously had time to reflect on this matter. I believe that the recommendation is appropriate, certainly for probation. I think Mr. Gillespie is going to take that seriously and comply with court orders. I would just ask the court to, as far as incarceration goes, I believe that the 100 days hopefully is a good amount for Mr. Gillespie to reflect on the matter. And I would ask for no further incarceration and just for the court to follow the probation recommendations. And I know that Mr. Gillespie has some things he wants to say in allocution as well.
Mr. Gillespie, anything you'd like to say on your own behalf?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to say that I've had plenty of time to think about what I've done wrong, and reflected on that and trying to be a better part of society than I was 101 days ago. And I believe I'm ready to get back out there and go back to work. I worked for a company for 8 years, and I had to have a meeting with them to go over my job and make sure everything's squared away with that, and I'm doing stuff correct with their establishment, and go through probation without any problems, and try to get into some kind of rehab, outpatient or something, because I know I obviously have a problem with using that kind of drug, and I don't want to do it no more. It's ruined my life almost to the point of nothing. Well, I appreciate your time.
Thank you. In determining the appropriate sentence in these cases, the court has considered the seriousness of the offense, the history of the principle of proportionality, the statutory penalty, cost of confinement, the report and recommendation of the probation department, as well as what's been said on the record here this morning. The criteria and reasons for the sentence are the nature and gravity of the offense, the discipline appropriate to its commission, deterrence against repetition by you and by others, the potential for reformation, vindication for the law, and the protection of society. I appreciate your comments, Mr. Gillespie, about wanting to change your life and change your behaviors. I truly hope that you're able to take advantage of this probation term and do that. I know that reviewing the pre-sentence report, you've been on probation a number of times in the past. And I think what you need to know at this point is you've got to do something different, because they weren't that successful in the past. And so you need to figure out what it is you need to do different this time to make it successful in the future. And if that turns out to be drug court, if you get approved for that, that'd be great. If it turns out for some reason you don't get into the drug court, then you need to understand you're going to have to do that work on your own and find some supports for you to continue to stay clean. Otherwise, you're going to end up back here on other violations, and then we're going to have to deal with it in a different way. So it will be the sentence of the court that you serve a period of probation for 3 years, subject to the following conditions: that you must not use or possess alcoholic beverages or other intoxicants. You must not enter bars or other places where the primary purpose is to serve alcoholic beverages for drinking on site. You must comply with requirements of drug and alcohol testing as directed by the field agent. You must not use or possess any controlled substances or drug paraphernalia, or be with anyone that you know to possess those items. You must complete a substance abuse assessment when you're referred by the field agent. You must not have verbal, written, electronic, or physical contact without permission of the field agent with anyone that you know to have a felony record. You must not have verbal, written, electronic, or physical contact with any person that you know to be engaged in any behavior that constitutes a violation of any criminal law of any unit of government. You must not use any object as a weapon. You must not own, use, or have under your control or area of control a weapon or any type or imitation of a weapon. You must not be in the company of anyone that you know to possess those items. You must submit to a search of your person and property, including but not limited to your vehicle, residence, and computer, without need of a warrant, if the field agent has reasonable cause to believe that you have items which violate the terms of your probation. You must not drive a motor vehicle while your driver's license is suspended. Your driver's license is suspended for 1 year with eligibility for a restricted license after 60 days. You must serve jail time as follows: 1 year with credit for 100 days served. That's deferred. You must comply with DNA testing and pay a $60 fee. You must pay a $68 state cost, $130 crime victims' rights fee. You must pay a $30 per month supervision fee that becomes $60 per month if electronic monitoring is required. You must pay court costs in the amount of $750 and an attorney fee in the amount of $450. You have the ability to request an appeal of your sentence. Mr. Gillespie, they should have for you at the jail 3 copies of a notice of right to appellate review and request for appointment of attorney form. When they give you those, you need to sign 1 copy of that form and return it back to the court. That indicates that you've received your copy of the form. If you want to appeal your sentence, you need to fill out the other 2 copies of that form and mail them to the address listed in the form within 42 days. Any questions about that, Mr. Gillespie?
No, sir. You said a year in the county jail deferred.
Correct. That's deferred, and you get credit for the 100 days that you've served.
What's the deferred mean?
So that means if there's a violation of probation at a later date, if you do something else and come back for a violation and are convicted of that violation, then you would serve the remainder of that year.
Okay, that's what I thought you meant, sir. If I get credit for 100 days and then I get a deferred sentence.
Correct.
Okay. So that means I'd be able to get out released.
Correct.
Sometime today or next week or something. I don't know.
Yeah, as far as the court is concerned, you don't have any further jail time, so it's just a matter of them processing that at the jail.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
Okay. Ms. Holly, do you need any information from Mr. Gillespie?
Yeah, I emailed about drug court and have not heard back yet. So if you get out, I need you to report to me in the parking lot of the courthouse Tuesday between 8 and 10 in the morning.
Today?
Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay.
Otherwise, you'll be seeing someone in drug court, but I don't know yet.
Okay. Tuesday of next week. Today's Friday, right?
Right.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Tuesday, that'll be August 10th in the parking lot at the courthouse.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Joanne, I should just say that Mr. Gillespie, I think, had a district court case. I don't know if he's held in on that case. Obviously, he won't be able to check. But if he's out of custody, then
Okay.
Gillespie, then you got to check in with Ms. Holly.
Okay.
Your Honor, can I just address one other issue? I should have done this at the beginning. At PSI, it states that Mr. Fry is appointed counsel. Could we just make the clerical change of the PD's office being on the case?
Yeah, thank you. We can. I did notice that, and then I forgot to bring it up. Was on, I think, page 1 under evaluation and plan, the last sentence of the first paragraph refers to Attorney Brian Fry, and so that should just be corrected to say the Public Defender's Office.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. So am I gonna have to stay here until the 19th for what he was just talking about, my lawyer?
If I may address, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Mr. Gillespie, it's going to depend on what the bond on those cases are. So if you have a PR bond on those cases, if nothing else is holding you in, then you'll be released because this case will no longer be holding you in. But if something else is holding you in, then obviously that case will have to be addressed at the appropriate time, which may be the 19th. So it depends on what the bond is on the other case.
Okay. How can I find out what the bonds are? I mean, you said it was a failure to appear.
The jail should certainly have that. I'll look into it as well and try to coordinate with you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so the failure to appear reminded me that we did have the sentencings on the contempts of court for the 2 failures to appear in this case. With respect to those, it'll be the sentence of the court that Mr. Gillespie served 93 days in jail with credit for 93 days on each of those contempts.
Thank you.
So those.
And I guess we should probably say that he's ordered to successfully complete drug court if he's been accepted. I kind of think we should say that.
Okay. We can add then as a term of the probation that
Thank you.
you enter into and successfully complete the drug court program if he's evaluated and accepted for that.
Thank you.
Okay, what, excuse me again, was the file number 21/0929 on your end?
No, that sounds like the district court file number. Our file number here in circuit court for this case is a 20 file number. It's 20-20044.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Then you can tell the officer that's with you there that you are done in court for today. We would take Bobby Williams next if they have him available.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thanks, Ms. Holly. See you soon.
Yep, thank you. It's good to see you.
Seeing you. Your Honor, I think that's it for me. So I will, I'll see you next time.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, Ms. Underwood, you are here for Mr. Hollis.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Hollis is not logged in. Have you had any?
He is in the jail, Your Honor.
Oh, he's at the jail. Okay. Are you handling Mr. Williams also?
Don't believe so. Let me check. Is that Xavier Williams, Your Honor?
Bobby Williams.
Bobby? No, I do not have a Bobby Williams. Let me see who that is.
Yeah, I guess if you want to ask for Mr. Hollis instead of Mr. Williams.
I see that as Ms. Van Duzen, Your Honor.
Hollis in the room for the Williams.
Good morning.